chair of the Global Black Caucus.
And I'm Adrienne. I lead our caucuses, Get Out the Voting.
Welcome to the Power to the People podcast.
2025, and we're in our season of opposition.
And we will not obey in advance. Power to the people.
Angela's Juneteenth edition. It's
All
the
right.
Juneteenth edition.
The Juneteenth edition. Happy Juneteenth, everybody, and power to the people.
Happy Juneteenth. Power to the people. You know, can you remember the first time you heard about Juneteenth? I feel like I've always known about it, but never celebrated it growing up.
Yeah, I think I've always known about it too. But I didn't celebrate it, and our family, which I find absolutely crazy because my family is from Texas, so and they should have been doing that. But sometimes people just don't have time or whatever. But Juneteenth is now and has been since what is it, 2023 or was it 2024 that it became a holiday?
2023.
2023. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's now an official U.S. holiday, and that commemorates the end of slavery in the United States. It marks the day in 1865. That was a long time ago when
You know what,
Union troops.
Angela? Wait a
What?
second. I don't want to cut you off, but I just wonder, are we sure there's even Juneteenth anymore? Because if everything above the DEI was gotten out of the government.
No, he can't get rid of Juneteenth because it was a congressional thing. So yeah,
Okay, so you can go back. I just realized, I was like, are we wasting our time? Is Juneteenth canceled?
no,
So, no,
no.
so
Juneteenth ain't canceled. What's wrong? What's wrong with you, girl? It's not canceled. For more than 100 years. It was so all right. Let's go back. I'm getting ahead of myself. So Juneteenth marks the day in 1865 when Union troops arrived in Galveston, Texas, and announced that the freedom of all enslaved people more than 2 years after Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation, which was issued on January 1st, 1863. So
it didn't take him 2 years to ride across. It's just what did I heard something like, oh, they found out that the people didn't know or something, or
that's
how
right.
does that work? Yeah,
That's
no
right.
social media.
If no social media, no telephones, no, no, so Galveston, or actually in general, Texas, was really on the end of the United States, like a far, even though California was there, it's even further. But when you think about when there was nothing but, letters and the telegraph and whatever, and the fact that, slave owners just didn't want people to know, they couldn't keep people from knowing in the eastern part of the United States. But in the western part, of course, slave owners be slaving. So that's how they are. They did not know, but by the time the Union troops arrived, they informed people on June 19th, 1865, Major General Gordon Granger delivered General Order Number 3, which declared the people of Texas are informed that in accordance with the proclamation from the executive of the United States, that's Abraham Lincoln, all slaves are free. So, and Texas was the last place where people knew, Black people found out that they were free. And that is what Juneteenth is, June the 19th. And it's now an official federal holiday, which is awesome. But even if somehow, I'm sorry, we are totally wrong. This was signed into be a federal holiday on June 17th, 2021. And it's
2021. So one of the earlier things he did, but did it go
That's
into
right.
law on the 23rd
Yes,
or
it went on.
in
It went
2023?
in on June 17th in 2021, and it is now officially known as Juneteenth, the National Independence Day. So, of course, this holiday has been celebrated since 1865, but and people have been working to get this to be a federal holiday for, I don't know, for more than 100 years, about 150 years that people were working to get this to be an actual federal holiday. Let's hear from, I think, the mother of the grandmother of Juneteenth, Opal Lee, and she can explain everything that she did to make this happen. Here we go.
Today is Juneteenth, a day honoring the emancipation of the last enslaved Americans in Galveston, Texas on June 19th, 1865. Now, Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation abolishing slavery in 1863, but it would take the Confederacy 2 years to declare every person free. Now, millions of Americans are celebrating the newest federal holiday of Juneteenth, considered America's second Independence Day. And we are marking Juneteenth by spotlighting the woman behind the holiday. Opal Lee is known as the grandmother of Juneteenth for her relentless push to make June 19th a federally recognized holiday. Now the 97-year-old has achieved another great victory, returning to her family home in Fort Worth, Texas, which she now owns. Here's ABC's DeMarco Morgan.
It was a bittersweet moment, some 85 years in the making. On this day, back in 1939, Opal Lee and her family were chased out of their home because of the color of their skin. And now, for the moment and gift of a lifetime she thought she'd never live to see. At just 97 years young, this is the moment Opal Lee walked into her brand new home.
You know, that's your couch over there.
House keys and Bible in hand, the woman regarded as the grandmother of Juneteenth, marveling at the furnishings and artwork. But although the house is new to Lee, this Fort Worth neighborhood and even the lot the home sits on was once a place where she and her family resided 85 years ago before they were violently driven out by a racist white mob.
I wish my mom and my dad could see me now.
See you now. Tell us about that moment. You were 12 years old.
My parents had bought a house here, and my mom had it fixed up so nice. And on the 19th of June, it was that people started gathering across the street, and the police were there. I guess when my dad came home with a gun, the police told him if he busted a cap, they'd let the mob have us.
Was it because this was a white neighborhood?
Yes, that was the reason, and they didn't want us. And it amazes me because we would have been good neighbors, you know?
In recent years, with the help of organizations like Texas Capital and Trinity Habitat for Humanity, Lee was able to purchase the property back for just $10.
And who could have predicted that we would have ended up buying this lot several years ago, and we didn't know the story, right? We had no idea what happened all those years ago. If we should learn anything from Opal, it's she never gives up.
Does it feel like home to you?
And I've said over and over again, when I go to the new house, I'm not taking anything but my toothbrush. And sure enough, who needs anything else?
The retired public school teacher hailed as a national figure.
Hello, young people.
For decades, pushing the country to recognize Juneteenth as a national holiday, a day commemorating the end of slavery across the U.S. In 2021, that dream became a reality. You worked, some people say single-handedly, to make sure that Juneteenth was recognized as a national holiday.
I'm hoping that young people, and everybody's a young person if you're not 97, so there. I'm wanting young people to realize that we can make a difference.
Last month, Lee recognized with the highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Before saying goodbye, we had to get a tour of the new place.
A kitchen with everything in it.
This is so beautiful. You gonna be cooking? You gonna make me a pound cake?
Porch and rocking chair included. Look at you go!
Oh, I'll have a good time.
Diane Opal Lee says she plans to walk 2.5 miles this morning as a way to commemorate the nearly 2.5 years that it took for Texas slaves to learn they were free. Diane?
All right, DeMarco Morgan, thanks for that. Such a great story for Opal Lee to now be back home.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? That our mother of Juneteenth. It's a story that that people that I'm glad we were able to commemorate. That she worked all this time and got a Medal of Honor from President Biden. A man who I think people didn't appreciate President Biden enough. They were too fixated on how old he was. Yeah, for sure. But back on to Juneteenth, because Juneteenth is a holiday for people to express joy. Don't you think, Adrian, that it's a joyful day? I mean, typically people celebrate with, cookouts, barbecues, parades, music, dancing. Oh, and of course, reading of the Emancipation Proclamation and other fun activities.
Okay, I don't know if reading the Emancipation Proclamation is fun, but I know what you mean. It's important. And I think I had it memorized. That was one of those documents that they made us memorize. That, the Gettysburg Address, preamble to the Constitution. But I have a copy of the Emancipation Proclamation somewhere so I'm teasing when I say I don't know if it's fun, it's important. But I don't really know what people do at Juneteenth celebrations because I didn't grow up celebrating, but everything you say sounds reasonable, especially if you frame it in the context of National Freedom Day. So what do? We grill, we play games, you're with your family, you're with your friends, there's music, you have a good time, you're joyful. And I think some people stop celebrating 4th of July now and are just doing Juneteenth. Isn't that, have you heard that?
I have heard people say that, but for me, Juneteenth, June 19th, marks the start of American freedom. And so we should be celebrating from Juneteenth to the 4th of July. It should be freedom. Like
barbecue every weekend. Weekend. Well, that's an interesting concept. And I wonder if they're going to be something on the mall, the National Mall. I think they did. Again, I don't know who organizes things, but I do think that it has become a huge cultural festival around the country. Because I see things start popping up already. Yeah, they've been popping up on social media. But I don't know. But somebody said that the colors of Juneteenth are not red, black, and
no, they're not. They're not.
Yeah.
The Juneteenth flag is basically, it's red, white, and blue. So it's got a bursting star in the center. Yeah. And I think it's really the bursting star in the center represents freedom for Black Americans throughout the 50 states. So
every Juneteenth graphic we see is wrong. And somebody was like, that's not even the right colors you're using. And I'm like, it's not. And I looked it up and it's like, it's not. So that's just one of those interesting things to mention. Because everything's going to be red, black, and green. It's like, that's not the colors. No, it's like, okay, they're not going to stop. And who cares?
But, I mean, basically to me, Juneteenth is just a time to celebrate and that people should be, not just Black people, but I actually think all people should celebrate Juneteenth simply, well, I mean, it is a day off from work, but because it marks the start of American Freedom Weeks, where Americans are free. And I think that's super positive, that somehow we managed to change our country. I mean, okay, we managed to change with the Civil War, but we did it anyway, and we're free. So I'm proud to celebrate Juneteenth. Love barbecue. Like I love to grill. I love a cookout. Um, I am going to, well, I'm not, I am, this is the week that I would normally open the terrace and when I begin to grill. So Juneteenth is the day.
No monkeys in Germany.
You know, no, there are no monkeys. And if there were, I would put traps out for them and kill them. Sorry, take that out. No.
Wow. I don't even want to know what a monkey trap looks like. But
I don't know either, but I would figure it out because what Adrian is referring to is my erstwhile trip to Costa Rica, where I was kind of attacked by a monkey. Like,
well, you were definitely robbed. But I guess a robbery is an attack.
it is an attack, yes, when you're just sitting outside and eating some chips and then a creature is like, "Oh, that looks good. Give it to me."
All I can say is that you
God.
were in their neighborhood, and I would have been terrified. As soon as the thing hopped down from the tree, I would have been inside observing. And I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'm observing, right? I'm in their neighborhood. Oh, I'm observing. I wouldn't be thinking that this is going to go well. It's cute and fuzzy, and what's it going to do next? I would have
No.
am straight because I'm a
Yep.
chicken, so.
Yeah, I agree with you, but yes,
But back to
Juneteenth.
Juneteenth.
Yes, back to
Yeah.
Juneteenth.
Do you celebrate in Germany with other Americans like you do on the 4th of July?
Yes, I do. I
So,
do.
so what's happening this year
Important.
for Juneteenth?
Well, as I said, this will be the time that I open the terrace, and I'm just doing something small this year. But in past years, we've done all sorts of things for Juneteenth. We've had picnics. One year we did a fundraiser. Um, there's just a whole lot of things you can do, and it should always be joyous because liberation and freedom is a joyous thing. Like it is, and that's how it should be. So
What's
let's
this film? There's some film called Juneteenth. Do you know what that's about? Have you seen it? And I
no.
don't know if it's historical. Okay, because I see it and I just wondered if it's historical or they're just using that. Because I don't know if it's a copyright Juneteenth. Nobody copyrighted
No,
Juneteenth.
I mean, but it's a federal holiday,
Yeah.
so it's definitely something. Um,
'Cause I
all
think more and
right.
more people are getting interested in it. So I just wondered how people can learn more. But yeah, Google it, start there, YouTube it.
Yeah, YouTube it, and you'll see if you haven't learned enough. We're gonna close out this Happy Juneteenth episode of Power to the People podcast with our favorite Vice President, Kamala Harris. Let's hear what Madame Vice President had to say.
Good evening. Good evening. And happy Juneteenth. So tonight, with joy, we gather with friends and family to celebrate America's newest national holiday. So when I served in the United States Senate, I was proud to co-sponsor a bill to make Juneteenth a federal holiday. And as Vice President, it was my honor to stand beside our President, Joe Biden, as he signed the legislation that finally made that dream a reality. Today, Americans from all walks of life come together to celebrate Juneteenth, to honor Black excellence, culture, and community, to remember our nation's full history, and to celebrate one of our founding principles, the principle of freedom. America is a promise of freedom, liberty, and justice. The story of Juneteenth, as we celebrate it, is the story of our ongoing fight to realize America's promise, not for some, but for all. So as we gather tonight, let us remember the words of the great Coretta Scott King. The fight for civil rights must be fought and won with each generation. She reminds us that our freedoms will not be permanent unless we, in each generation, are vigilant to protect them. So let us all stand together as Americans to teach and honor our history, to protect our liberty, and to continue the fight for freedom. Thank you. May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you. Thank you. And now it is my honor as a proud
We hope you enjoyed this episode.
Yes, if something resonated with you, you learned something, or you want to take action.
Stay in touch with the Global Black Caucus. Our link tree is in the show notes. And always remember, power to the people.